What do you think an editor does? I mean, we know we're going to cut out the bad stuff and prepare it for final delivery, but there might be a few things more that you hadn't considered. So, what I want to do is show you a clip where you've got some professional editors talking about what it is they think they do, and then let's reflect on what they're thinking the role of an editor is and how that might affect the way you consider your task as an editor. This is from a movie called The Cutting Edge about movie editing, and it's available on YouTube.
Filmmakers realized that sound and image didn't just stimulate emotions, they could also influence beliefs. During World War II, the U.S. government enlisted Hollywood's best. Editors and directors brought with them the same techniques they had used in fiction films to stir audiences across America. The Hollywood recruits applied their skill to American propaganda films, such as Why We Fight. Both German and American political leaders recognized how powerfully sound and picture can manipulate audiences. One of the most infamous examples of film used for political propaganda was Triumph of the Will. Director Leni Riefenstahl used sound, music, and masterful editing to make Adolf Hitler into a god.
In uns marschiert Deutschland und hinter uns kommt Deutschland.
When the Allies went to war against Germany, British editor Charles Ridley re-edited the same footage to turn Hitler into a fool. Whether used for propaganda or entertainment, these techniques showed how powerfully editing could shape hearts and minds.
I had seen the German propaganda in Holland when we were occupied. The methodology of the whole thing is, of course, to show only one side of reality.
Young people from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
So Starship Troopers is, style-wise, as a movie, has been influenced consciously by Why We Fight in the Second World War, Triumph of the Will. I used the Leni Riefenstahl touch just to tell the audience this group of people is not aware of the fact that they are used by the government to give their lives for goals that are only interesting to the government.
Fresh meat for the grinder, eh? So how'd your kids do?
I'm gonna be a pilot.
Well, good for you. We need all the pilots we can get.
So I think the theme of the movie is, come on, that's great, let's go to war and die.
What about you, son?
Infantry, sir.
Good for you. Mobile infantry made me the man I am today.
In editing, you can do the same trick. It's all trying to sell us something. Manipulation that's done by editing, manipulation done by the glamorous photography, and by a certain kind of music that makes you think that you are going to heaven or whatever.
The manipulation of the elements within a film is a very powerful thing. It's almost a sacred thing in a way, because you're creating effects, you're creating responses in the audience.
Editing is manipulation. We're manipulating reality as the audience sees it, because you want the audience to respond in a certain way, whether it's a laugh or a sigh or a fright. Everything's manipulated. And some people say, well, let's direct him. He's manipulated the audience. Well, that's so naive, because that's all we do is manipulate.
What is the role of the editor? They didn't even talk about the fact that their job is to cut out the bad stuff and just kind of leave the good stuff. There's a little more to it. The one thing that's consistent when you hear from editors, they say they think of themselves as storytellers. They are not necessarily just technicians. but they are deeply concerned with an aspect of the story. Different than directing and different than writing, the editor is the one who's telling the story after it's been shot. So the writer conceives of the idea, puts it on paper, but has nothing necessarily to do with the shooting of it. The director takes that paper, captures all of the elements on film or on video. Now, the editor is going to work with the director to ensure that this vision is completed, but they're coming at it from their own unique angle and skills. So their job is going to order shots, adjust it for sound, and look for acting. One thing that editors get really good at is spotting believable acting, because they're the ones who are going to be involved in deciding performances. An editor's role is to manipulate the filmic reality. Filmic reality is a unique term that means the reality that we all buy into when we sit down in a theater, when we sit in front of the TV, when we open up Netflix and we start to watch a movie. We buy into that reality. We are willingly manipulated into a story that we know is completely artificial. We know the elements are artificial. But the idea of the filmic reality is the reality that's independent of the rest of the world. And the editor's job is to pull the audience as much into that reality as possible so that they forget about their real reality. They are absorbed in the story. Filmic reality is the story that we want to pull the audience into and have them forget about everything else in life. The editor is the first member of the audience. We are watching the work come together, always in the back of our minds asking, will the audience understand this? Will the audience be able to follow what's going on? Does the story make sense? But taking it to the next step, as an editor, what we really want to do is to move the audience emotionally. Can we adjust the performances? Can we bring the story together? Can we work the timing and the pacing and involve the subtext enough so that the audience come to that cathartic moment where they are moved by the story? They are moved by the performances. It's more than just entertainment, but it hits the audience on a deeper level. We are getting paid, ideally, and we're hired by a director and a producer, and they have a vision. And it is the editor's job to fulfill the vision of the director and the producer. The director is the one who is responsible for what ends up on screen. So the director is the one who you're really following. They're the general. They make the final decisions. As an editor, you are seeing things from a bit of a different perspective, and the director will be relying on you as that sober second thought to come up with different ideas, to have a different take on what has been shot, because any good director would know that an editor is just going to come with ideas to make their vision better. A good editor will enhance that vision and make the film even better than the director could have. But it's the producer who's paying all the bills. So sometimes, from experience, as an editor, you end up playing the role of a diplomat between the director and the producer. But your job is also to fix everybody else's problems, because come to the end of the line and now it's up to you to solve some issues, often to do with camera, performances, sound that was recorded on location. So you have to start to learn about other people's jobs. You need to learn about lenses, microphones. There's a lot of technical details that eventually you have to learn, and you'll find ways of learning. You'll ask questions, and you'll do a lot of Google searches. That's the difference between what most people's preconceived idea of what an editor does and some of the reality of what editors come to understand from their job. Yes, their job is to find the good stuff and just cut out the bad stuff and put it all together and come to that delivery, but there's a few other layers beyond that.